This might be the first time in history that North Korea kicked someone out of their country. Usually they're trying to bring them back in or not let anyone out. So of course I'm talking about Private Travis King. Now there's a lot of people on the internet who are really mad at this guy for running away into North Korea, but I got news for you. I really think he's going to get away with everything. So in this video, we're going to go over what exactly happened and why I think, again, he's going to get away with going into North Korea and eventually getting kicked out of North Korea. Now, I'm just going to say this. I don't think Travis King was a good soldier, and I say that kind of feeling a little bad. I used to be in the 101st Airborne. I used to be a team leader, and if Travis King was my soldier, I'm sorry, I would call you a bad soldier. He punched South Koreans in the face. He damaged a South Korean cop car, and that's inexcusable. Of course, as a soldier, you're supposed to act professional. Now, if alcohol was involved, I understand things happen, but again, inexcusable. So because of this is why we assume Travis King decided to run away into North Korea to escape punishment in the United States. And so again, just to catch you guys all up to speed, what happened was Travis King was being transported over to an airport, and at that airport, he was going to fly into the United States. Now, he was left unattended, and from there, Travis King ran away to the DMZ. He blended in with the population, a tourist group, and then apparently, allegedly, he ran into North Korea and was laughing, according to the reports that the tourists were saying. Everyone thought it was like a joke. And now here's where things get a little murky, because the U.S. military refused to call Travis King a POW, a prisoner of war. And that's our first big point. The U.S. military acknowledged that Travis King, he is a soldier, and we want to get him back, but in no way, shape, or form are we about to call this guy a prisoner of war. They're going to call him AWOL, absent without leave. And the reason why this is all relevant is because once you get put on a POW status, you're like highly elevated as someone that we need to get back. We will do anything it takes to get you back. It's a really big deal to be a POW. As far as AWOL goes, it sounds like this really scary thing, but if I'm being honest with you, you also get called AWOL for not showing up to your morning formation because you woke up drunk. So again, you hear this word AWOL, Travis King is put in that category of, oh my gosh, you're AWOL. And there are some people out there who return back to the military after years of never being around, and they get away with it scot-free because maybe they need a job, and that job was like, hey, it says here you're AWOL on your background check, you got to go get that figured out. This is a really common occurrence in the Army. Now, the assumption was we're never going to hear from Travis King ever again. North Korea will probably never even acknowledge that they have Travis King, and there's a lot of historical reason to believe that Travis King was about to be paraded around the country as some sort of superstar or propaganda piece for the North Koreans. In fact, you have a handful of defectors into North Korea. The most famous was a guy named Droznek, who kind of under the same circumstances, he hated the U.S. military. He was about to be facing a punishment, a court-martial, and then he just walked on over into North Korea. And then later on, he became a movie star in North Korea, where he was always the bad guy in North Korean films. He was always the U.S. soldier. And not only that, his sons also served the North Korean military. And again, there were other North Korean defectors who went into the country who were former U.S. soldiers. They sort of lived down that same path of being a propaganda tool. And that's why many people believed, well, we're never going to hear from Travis King ever again. We might see him in like the big screen or in some sort of movie. But no, in the oddest circumstances ever, North Korea releases their statement, or this investigation that they pulled on Travis King, where they said Travis King felt racially discriminated. Travis King felt inhumane conditions in the United States. There was a lot of wording in there that I'm just going to say it. There's no way Travis King would have said this. Like, no U.S. Army soldier uses that vernacular, especially on the lower enlisted level, unless Travis King is some major scholar. I'm not hating on him, but nobody says those words, especially in combat units, or especially just the regular old soldier. It just is what it is. We don't say that. We all kind of curse, unfortunately, through all of our sentences. We use very simple words because that's how you're trained as a soldier. Get straight to the point. Now, during this investigation, there was this little sliver of hope, like a 0.001%, where Travis King is going to make it back home, but nobody thought that was going to happen. North Korea had said Travis King came into our country, but he also possibly was looking into another third country to go into. Many people speculated, well, Is this China? Is this Russia? Because that's the only people North Korea talks to. But again, no one expected North Korea to just kick him out of their country or expel him, as they said. Again, this will all lead up to why I think Travis King is going to get away with all of this, because now all of a sudden Travis King gets expelled from North Korea, sent to China, and immediately China says, hey, we got your boy, go and take him. So again, the U.S. military, they grabbed Travis King, and now Travis King is in U.S. custody. But the thing is this, there was a video released of Travis King being in U.S. custody, coming off of an airplane. And I got to be honest with you, this is not someone who's being treated as like a really bad guy or this prisoner of war or anything. They're just like, yeah, this is Travis King. In fact, they're shaking his hand and acting him like a pretty decent human being.
Back in the U.S., we received confirmation that the flight carrying Travis King has indeed arrived in San Antonio, Texas, more than 2 months after his dash over the military demarcation line in the Korean demilitarized zone.
Is almost going to go through a checklist of different chores instituted by the United States military. First of all, the big focus is going to be on his health, his physical health and his emotional health. He certainly will get a physical exam from a physician, from a group of individuals described by the State Department as being.
Now, the question is this, is Travis King going to get in trouble or not? Now, without a doubt, again, Travis King is not a prisoner of war, was never classified as prisoner of war. He was classified as AWOL, absent without leave. And again, even if you don't show up to like a formation or you go missing because maybe your car broke down and you never made it back to your unit, you're also technically called AWOL. So this is a common thing. And if the U.S. military is classifying him as AWOL, I mean, look, let's be honest, he's definitely not going to get in the biggest of trouble ever. Something else we need to understand is that Travis King walked into one of the most dangerous countries in the world and survived. So it wouldn't be out of the question where the U.S. military says, well, you know what, maybe you can give us some information. You can tell us something about North Korea because you're sort of the first person to ever just walk in there, enter into the heart of the country and then walk out. You didn't even walk out. You got kicked out, bro. Like, that's crazy. So again, under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is where Travis King will be charged under, there's a lot of wiggle room in there to where really anything can happen. Maybe he can get some sort of plea deal. But like, without a doubt, Travis King did something wrong, but it's classified under AWOL. Nobody got hurt. I don't think there was a lot of money and resources spent to go out and get him. There weren't teams that infiltrated North Korea and risked their lives. If that was the case, he would have been in big trouble. But other than that, everything went okay. Obviously, this was a really big nuisance, but for sure, I don't think he's going to get in trouble because we can also compare an even more severe case to where somebody hardly even got in trouble themselves. This might be really triggering for some people, and I hate to use the word triggering, but it will be. So this guy right here is Bo Bergdahl. He is somebody who has admitted to actually leaving his post and betraying all of the soldiers around him, and then he got captured by, I can't say the word on YouTube, he got captured by the bad guys in Afghanistan, and for years, soldiers weren't necessarily directly looking for Bo Bergdahl, but he was always on the mission statement of, hey, Bo Bergdahl is out there, so make sure you're looking for him. And because of this, you've actually had soldiers who have been taken out in combat. And so Bo Bergdahl eventually did make it back into the hands of the United States, and he did get charged under Uniform Code of Military Justice, but his worst charge was they reduced his rank and he got a dishonorable discharge. He never went to jail. So understand this. Bo Bergdahl actually got people didn't make it back home because of Bo Bergdahl, and his worst punishment was, slap on the wrist, you're fine. What the United States said was, well, your punishment was actually being captured by the bad guys in Afghanistan. You got hurt by them. You're mentally destroyed by them. And who knows, maybe the same exact thing can be said about Travis King. Because look, Travis King, I'm not going to say he does this, and I'm not saying he should do this. All Travis King has to do is say, oh, I was tortured. I was hurt. They said bad things about me. You know, I didn't feel like I was going to make it back. I'm going a little crazy. who knows? Maybe that will be enough for the U.S. military to be like, okay, you're fine. But I'll tell you this, I don't think Travis King will get away with his initial charges, and that is very important. I think at the end of the day, Travis King for sure is getting kicked out of the U.S. military, and I think this is going to be incredibly embarrassing for him for a large portion of his life, and I think the U.S. military may show a little mercy on him because he's going to have to deal with this the rest of his life. His family is going to be embarrassed because of this, and I couldn't even imagine what he's going through. You have to be in a very bad mental space to want to run into the worst country in the world, as opposed of getting in trouble back down in the United States for the initial charges he was going to get in trouble for. And again, those charges were going to be punching a South Korean in the face, destroying a cop car, and I'm sure the list goes on, and he was probably going to get kicked out for that. I don't think he was going to be facing jail time. He would have gotten reduction in rank. He would have been having to sweep the hallways for the next 90 days. He would have gotten in big trouble. So again, in my humble opinion, and I know a lot of you are not going to like this, but I'm just trying to speak facts out here, I really do think Travis King is going to get away with this. Nobody got hurt. He wasn't a prisoner of war. He was considered absent without leave, AWOL. That happens all the time in the Army. So yeah, that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think. I think he's going to get away with it. Now, if people did get hurt, like with with Bo Bergdahl, that would have been a totally different issue. It would have been a totally different conversation. And part of me sort of feels like I'm kind of glad Travis King made it back, because this was a very telling sign that China somewhat is willing to work with us. But North Korea, I guess, has standards as who they allow into their country. Maybe in another video we can talk about why North Korea didn't want him in their country. But again, that's also kind of shameful that the worst country in the world, who hates the U.S. military and would love to have their own U.S. soldier, they kicked him out of North Korea. That's sort of embarrassing, like itself. Anyway, yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and we'll see you later.